Treyarch recently released their Season 2 update for Black Ops Cold War. With the update, they introduced a new battle pass filled with new guns, weapon blueprints, emblems, and double XP. Multiplayer saw the addition of a few new maps and 2 new modes, Gun Game and Stockpile. Oh, and of course, the ship carrying zombies crashed into Verdansk for Warzone. Yep, that's it. But to many people's surprise, including my own, this season, at least the start of it, shed a whole new light on what zombies is and what it can be. What is going on, my fellow zombie slayers? It is Nelly B here, and I've got to admit, during the first week of Outbreak's release, I couldn't put it down. Seriously, it turned my sleep schedule into only sleeping when necessary, and the only food I was eating was that of which can be prepared and digested in the time it takes to warp to another area, so basically just Dr. Pepper. And don't even ask me about my showering routine. But hey, I'm already level 100, because that's worth it, right? Introducing Outbreak, a large-scale zombies mode that takes our preconceived notions about how the game mode operates and expands on it. You start out by spawning into one of the many large-scale maps from the multiplayer mode Fireteam Dirty Bomb. Your goal is to reach one of the 5 main objectives, usually on the opposite side of the map, complete that objective, make your way to the anomaly, and either teleport to the next area or exfil your way out, with each round or area increasing in difficulty similar to the regular mode, just a bit more drastic. The 5 main objectives I mentioned earlier include a defense objective where you're tasked with retrieving a zombie's head, placing it on a machine, and protecting said machine until the time runs out. An elimination objective that spawns a sort of super elite zombie, essentially a regular elite zombie you can find around the map, only this one is harder to kill and is accented red. Next, you have a holdout objective. Upon interacting with one of these crystals around the map, you'll be teleported to a building in that area where you will then be trapped. As it says in the name, hold out here until the time runs out. An escort mission where you have to follow this rover around to 3 different areas. And last but not least, retrieve, where you have to collect 2 separate canisters and return them to Omega in order to power their rocket. Now, this mode is set up in a way where zombies are no longer your main source of points. That burden is placed on these objectives. Upon the completion of each objective, you'll be rewarded a healthy amount of points. For level or round 1, you'll be rewarded 2,000 points. Level 2 or round 2 is 5,000, level 3 or round 3 is 10,000, and every time after that it increases by 5,000. So level 4, 15,000, level 5, 20,000, and so on and so forth. Apart from these main objectives, we have side missions as well. 3 to be exact. These are missions that do not need to be done before leaving the area, but can provide anything from points and salvage all the way up to wonder weapons and perks. These side missions include feeding a dragon like we see on Drak, tracking a distress call and killing a horde of boss zombies once activated, and this lightning symbol. I don't know what it's actually supposed to represent. All I know is that it spawns a crate out of the sky and, once completed, gives you the same rewards as any of these other missions would. These can make the early game more fun and interesting, as well as reward you with some very essential gear. However, in this mode, wonder weapons are essential, and unfortunately for us, these rewards don't just go tossing them around like random objects from Black Ops 3 onto Samantha Maxis. Which brings me into my next topic, trials. Now, everything I've mentioned up until this point was implemented relatively smoothly. I'll focus more on the nitpicks later, but here lies my first true contention with this mode. Now, for the most part, trials in this mode compared to the 2 other maps before it are actually pretty important. That's something I'll touch on in a bit. No longer are we required to sit in just one area of the map and wait for a timer. Challenges like these have been replaced with stay in the air with a parachute for as long as possible. Intentional or not, this is a great way to give us a better understanding of the absolute massive cities they call maps, or the trial that requires us to kill zombies with vehicles, another topic I'll touch on later. Not only is this challenge fun, but it kind of forces us to experience one of the many new systems added to the zombies mode. But for every parachute and vehicle kill challenge, we also have disgraces such as these. Kill zombies that aren't aware of any players. So basically, zombies won't spawn in like they usually do. When you load up a new game or warp to the next area, there are already pre-placed groups spawned in. However, more will spawn in said groups upon approaching them. These zombies, of course, don't all just come running at you, they're just chilling. In other words, zombies that are unaware of your presence. Now, these zombies can become aware of players if you either A, get too close, B, shoot a zombie in the area, or C, by simply hearing your gunfire or any combination of the 3. So how am I, a player who either needs to get close to or shoot the zombies, supposed to kill enough to get a reward without announcing my badassery to the rest? Trick question. You can't. You can either kill one and move on, or get lucky enough to kill 2 to 3 before the rest are aware. Challenges like these are not only tedious, but they're just not fun. If I was able to snipe off a group that was far enough away, then maybe the trial might have something going for it, but nope, one and done, baby. The reason I've hyper-focused on these challenges is because, like it or not, they are the best way to get a wonder weapon. And like I mentioned earlier, progressing through the rounds is much more intense than a regular zombies game. By round 8 to 9, you're going to need one of the 3 wonder weapons to keep on pace with your previous rounds. However, the wonder weapons are scarce. I've been fortunate to be able to use all 3 wonder weapons in multiple games. However, I've seen people who, even a week into the mode, still couldn't get the ray gun. That's insane to me. Hopefully now you understand why having a trial that requires you to kill 1 to 2 zombies in a horde and then just move on to the next will be despised until it or the problem it creates is fixed. Moving on, I want to get into the maps themselves. As of right now, we have 3 different maps we teleport back and forth from. Alpine, a ski resort in the Ural Mountains during the Soviet Union. Being one of the larger maps and covered in snow, your only vehicle here is a snowmobile. Moving on, we have Galova, a civilian town taking place in the Ural Plains during the same time as Alpine. I like to think this map is a mirror opposite of Alpine, seeing as you spawn at the bottom of the map instead of the top. Your vehicles here are going to be the sedan and the military truck. And last but not least, we have Ruka, again taking place in the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. This map, in comparison to the last 2, is a bit more flat with a lot more trees. Again, your vehicles here are the sedan and the military truck. Even though there are undeniable similarities between each of the 3 maps, there's more than enough that makes each their own special map. Alpine is obviously covered in snow, Galova is a colorful town placed upon a hill, and Ruka is an abandoned military operation in the middle of the woods. If I had to pick my favorite, I'd say Alpine. Although I usually hate snowy areas in video games, this map stands out. Mainly because I love parachuting and zombies for some reason. Like I said earlier, being forced to face the beauty of this map uninterrupted is something I don't think we've had in zombies for a while at least. And if I had to pick the worst, it'd be Ruka. I don't hate this map at all, it just seems like there's always not enough vehicles or jump pads around. The map is essentially the shape of a bull, and I gotta say, I don't like green and brown all that much. However, the area around the outside of the map, at least where you spawn, is sort of a scorched earth devoid of any life other than the living dead. It's a great touch to an otherwise underwhelming map. Every single one of these maps is large enough to fit at least 10 Nocturne Totons in them. With the introduction of an entirely different definition of large map for us zombies players, they needed to add new modes of transportation to keep the same pace with the regular mode. Unfortunately for us, this means vehicles. Yes, you can now travel and kill zombies in style. As of right now, we only have the sedan, the military truck, and the snowmobile, but honestly, that's enough for me, at least at the moment. Each one of these vehicles has a health bar, which can be chipped away by zombies' attacks or just by running over zombies. Once the vehicle's health bar is depleted, it will explode with the potential to kill you. However, this hasn't happened to me yet, and I assume it won't happen until I forget about the fact that they can do that. We also have jump pads returning from Firebase Z. These are a faster mode of transportation compared to the vehicles, however, each jump pad use costs 500 points. Personally, I think these are great additions, but also a natural progression of zombies. I love that we can now rock out to our Black Ops 2 menu music around the map with Fred. Yeah, let's not go there. Of course, with any large and expansive map, there has to be a large variety of zombies, no? Right you are, fine viewer. The zombies types are as follows. There's obviously the regular zombies. These are essentially the same zombies we have been killing since World at War. Then you have the armored zombies. These come in many forms, ones with chest plates, ones with helmets, and ones with both helmets and chest plates. It's always best to shoot these guys in the head no matter what type they are. Then you have your dog zombies. These come in the form of Plague Hounds from Die Machine and Hellhounds from Firebase Z. And moving right along to the elite zombies, otherwise known as boss zombies, you have the Megaton making a return from Die Machine, as well as both the Mangler and Mimic from Firebase Z. The final 2 are new additions. To start off, we have the Tempest. If you're familiar with Transit, I want to start off by saying, who hurt you? And totally ruin this joke with an even worse segue back to the actual topic. If you're familiar with Transit from Black Ops 2, you should be able to make some pretty clear connections between the Avogadro and these bad boys. But for the uninitiated, these things are what I think to be Dark Aether Essence. Please don't hate me if that was wrong. Anyways, these have pretty low health compared to the other bosses, however, they do teleport when damaged enough and shoot what is essentially an EMP projectile. Now if this hits you directly, it won't do anything more than some damage. However, if one of these things hits a vehicle, which Happens often, trust me. The way these things lead shots is a sight to see. Anyways, if the projectile hits the car, it can destroy the car. However, if it doesn't, it will disable it for a short time. They're pretty annoying, especially in the later rounds. However, with enough firepower or the ray gun, these guys go down pretty easy. And for the final boss, we have what is essentially a Russian Panzer. Think Black Ops 3 Panzer mixed with a little bit of Nikolai's mech from Garad. This guy is beefy as hell. His attacks include throwing Molotovs at you and a full-on flamethrower. Luckily, this guy doesn't do too much damage if you can manage to move around a lot. However, he does have the added benefit of bringing his moon shoes to the fight. Although we technically don't see any other type of bosses, I feel compelled to mention that along with your standard bosses, you have extra elites, or should I say alpha elite zombies. These are the zombies I referred to earlier as the red accented ones. These guys take a bunch more damage but don't seem to dish out any more than their base counterpart. The only alpha elites we have in game as of the making of this video are megatons, which will split into red megaton bombers. You also have alpha elite panzers and manglers. As far as I'm concerned, these will only spawn when interacting with the distress call side mission I also mentioned earlier. And that's about it. To be completely honest, I'm having a lot of fun with this mode. I wouldn't have put my physical and mental health on the line if I wasn't. That's a bit over exaggeration, but to be fair, if there was no new battle pass, no new items or levels to unlock, I don't think I would have put nearly as much time into it. Sure, the side missions, vehicles, parachuting, and the beautiful landscapes these maps create are something that I didn't think we'd ever see in zombies, but those additions alone aren't enough to keep me around for as long as I'd like. Sure, we'll see more maps, more vehicles, and different zombies as the mode progresses, but what else? I think my friend Arya said it better than I ever could.
Outbreak is great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But it's also a little bit shallow. And what I mean by that is they're treating this as if it's like this large-scale zombies experience, right? But the scale doesn't really contribute to much.
Yeah.
You know, the scale, it feels like it's not even important. So the maps are kind of big.
Yeah.
But they're big for no reason. You know, the maps are big, but they're big for no reason because there's not much going on.
And that's just it. Repetition. I hate to be the 689th person to say this, but what's next? What does this mode's future look like? And of course, it's too early to tell. The fact that this mode is as good as it is excites me, but for how long? I don't hate the fact that I'm just another person who has these questions. I hate that this is so natural, to be given the unexpected and still want more. Side Easter eggs, main Easter eggs, variety past round 5, all of these things missing from the mode so far, but with how well they implemented the mode itself, I'm actually quite hopeful Treyarch will be able to handle these type of additions in the future. In conclusion, Outbreak, at least in my opinion, was a great addition to the Cold War Zombies family. A foundation, if you will. This is the next generation. A large-scale, action-packed adventure that, in my opinion, is the future for zombies in the same way Warzone is the future for Call of Duty. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the review of the new Zombies mode Outbreak. I'm having fun again, and that's all I could really ask for. Only time will tell how this mode advances and builds upon its base, but all in all, I'm excited. How about you guys? Let me know down in the comments below how you're enjoying the mode, and while you're there, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. The upload schedule has changed a bit. I'm going to be trying to get out 1 to 2 videos a week and streaming sporadically throughout, so make sure you check me out on Twitch as well. Anyways guys, make sure you stay safe, wear a mask, and peace.